Good evening to everyone. I am Magesh Kumar, Assistant Professor Civil Engineering Department from Rohini College of Engineering and Technology, Kanyakumari. In this video, we are going to discuss about the airport marking. So, airport marking are provided on any of the component of airport, such as the strips, patches, solid line, hollow line, cot line, etc. So the arrangement can be either inclined, perpendicular, or any other shape. The markings can be divided as apron marking, landing direction indicator, runway marking, shoulder marking, taxiway marking, and wind direction indicator. So this figure shows the typical layout of an airport and the marking of the components such as the runway, taxiway, apron, etc. First, apron marking. Certain guidelines are marked on the apron to help the pilots in maneuvering the most critical aircraft. Generally, they are related to the path to be traversed during parking in or out operation near terminal location or node, etc. Yellow color is used at such locations and it should be fuel resistant as aprons are likely to be subjected to fuel spillage. In apron marking, how an aircraft is going to take a turn and at what particular location it has to stop and where there can be a loading and unloading. Everything is defined. This figure shows the apron marking like the loading and unloading and in and out of taxiway. It also shows the apron marking. Then landing direction indicator. To indicate the landing direction, an arrow or a T is placed at the center of a segmented circle. It helps in identifying the runway strip and the direction from which they can land. The shape of landing direction indicator is arrow or T or circle with cut-off lines. It is painted in orange or white color. Also, it is lighted for viewing during night time. It is fixed at a distant place. As shown in figure, the landing direction indicator located within a segmented circle to show the direction of landing for any type of aircraft. It shows the segmented circle and its shape is as a T. The direction from which the wind blows is indicated by a wind cone. As already seen, the landing direction indicator and now it is the wind direction indicator. It is placed in a segmented circle together with the landing direction indicator. It should be placed away from buildings so that it is not affected by eddies. Panels forming segmented circle or gable roof shape with a pitch of at least 1:1. These panels are painted as white color and the length of wind direction indicator should not be less than 3.6 meter and its diameter at the larger end should not be less than 90 centimeter. Also, it should be visible from a height of 30 meter. It is painted with bands of colors like white and black or red and white or orange and white. As shown in figure, the wind direction indicator should be placed. So this image shows the landing direction indicator and the wind direction indicator along with the segmented circle. Next, the runway marking. These are provided with the different purposes like runway centerline marking, runway edge strip, runway numbering, touchdown or landing zone marking, threshold marking. It defines specific height by which aircraft should cross it. Two or more parallel runways. These are all runway marking. First, runway centerline marking. It is represented by a broken strip running along the entire length of runway. The length of strip should be equal to length of gap or 30 meter, whichever is higher. The length of strip plus gap shall not be less than 50 meter and more than 75 meter. The width of strip shall not be less than 90 centimeter on precision approach runway and 30 to 45 centimeter on non-precision approach runway. So figure shows the touchdown marking, centerline marking and the threshold marking of the runway. Next, runway touchdown marking. It is provided in the touchdown zone and consists of pair of rectangular markings placed symmetrically above the runway centerline. These are 1.8 meter wide strip spaced at 1.5 meter clear distance and are of 22.5 meter in length. Then the edge strip. Runway edge strip consists of two strips along each edge of runway. If width of runway is greater than 60 meter, the strip should be located 30 meter away from the runway center line. The thickness of strip is normally 90 centimeter. Then runway threshold marking. These marking consists of a pattern of longitudinal strip of uniform dimension placed symmetrically above the center line of the runway. They extend laterally within 3 meters of the edge of the runway. They are 1.8 meter by 3.6 meter wide with a spacing of 1.8 meter by 0.9 meter between them and 45 meter long. Usually they are provided to clear the obstruction in the flight path. Figure shows the runway threshold marking. Next, runway numbering. The end of runway is marked with a number that indicates the magnetic azimuth, that is the angle measured in clockwise direction from north. If the east end of east-west runway will be marked 27 for 270 degree and the west end is marked 9 for 90 degree. Magnetic azimuth is marked to nearest 10 degree. And last one, the two or more parallel runways. If there are more than one runway in same direction, following numbers are added to the azimuth number. For two parallel runways, the direction plus left and right will be indicated by denoting L, R in front of the runway number. For three parallel runways, L, C, R will be added. For four parallel runways, L, R will be added, and for five parallel runways, L, C, R, L, R. Such indications were ordered. The figure shows the parallel runways. Next, the shoulder markings. These are in the form of yellow strip, 90 centimeter wide and 30 meter, and at turnings it will be 15 meter. The markings extend up to a maximum 1.5 meter from the outer edge of shoulder. These shoulders are marked with diagonal lines whereas taxiways and holding apron shoulders are marked with stripes perpendicular to the direction of aircraft. Figure shows the shoulder marking and their spacing. And these markings helps pilot in knowing whether they are moving towards runway or moving away from runway. Blast pad at the end of runway is marked with chevron or V-shaped line. This is the area or direction from which takeoff takes place. And next one, taxiway marking. The center line of taxiway consists of 15 cm wide continuous stripe of yellow color. At intersection with runway end, the center line of the taxiway is terminated at the edge of the runway. At all other intersections with the runway, the center line of the taxiway extends up to the center line of runway. At other intersections with runway, it will reach up to the center line of runway and joins there. The figure shows the runway and the taxiway intersections and their marking. At the taxiway intersection, the center line marking of the taxiway continue through the intersection area. For taxiway intersection, where there is a need to hold the aircraft, a dashed yellow holding line is placed perpendicular to and across the center line of both taxiways. At the intersection of runway with an exit taxiway, the taxiway markings are extended onto the runway parallel to the runway center line, marking a distance of 60 meters beyond the point of tangency. If a taxiway crosses the runway, the taxiway markings may continue across the runway but with interruption for the runway marking. Figure shows the taxiway marking, runway markings and exit taxiway along with the lighting for the convenience for night time. This figure shows the holding position marking. And last one, the closed runways or taxiways. For temporarily closed runways or taxiways, yellow crosses are placed at the two ends that define it is temporarily closed. If the runway is closed permanently, then yellow crosses are placed at both ends and also at 300-meter intervals. Then threshold markings provided are erased. So, the airport markings such as the runway, taxiway marking, apron marking and other components in airport marking are discussed. Thank you.